Hi friends, my name is Lacey and today we are going to be working in the Sacral Chakra, or also known as the Savasana Chakra or the Sweetness Chakra. So the color of this chakra is orange, and the element that represents the chakra is water. So we're going to be doing a lot of reflecting on movement and connection today. Some good affirmations that we'll be playing with are I deserve pleasure or happiness or joy, and I can move with ease. So those are the themes that we'll be incorporating into our practice today. So I'm really excited that you're here. Happy to have you. It's just me and my dog hanging out. So welcome, no matter where you're at. Happy that you're here. And we'll go ahead and jump right in. All right, so we are going to just begin in a seat of your choice. For this video, I'm just choosing a nice, easy, cross-legged seat, but feel free to adjust in any way that you need to feel comfortable. You can just sit up on your knees. You could sit with your legs extended. You could even stack your hips if you wanted, or go into a little bit of a half lotus or full lotus, whatever your body is asking for today. But whatever that is, we are just going to arrive here and we are going to settle in and allow our eyes to close if that feels comfortable, or we can leave them open. But what I'd like to focus on is our breath. So let's just take a few moments here to breathe together. I'm going to breathe deeply in through my nose and exhale out through my mouth. And I'm just going to repeat that at my own pace for a few more rounds. In nice and deep through the nose and out through the mouth. Maybe attempting to do a little mini body scan here from the head to the toes, just trying to see if there are any major points of tension that are crying out as we are settling in. Again, this is a good time to set an affirmation if that's part of your practice. For the purposes of working with the sacral chakra, I just want to be mindful of kind of going back to the focus of our practice today and affirming that I deserve happiness and I deserve joy and I move with ease. Once that feels complete, I'm going to take my feet and I'm going to touch the soles of my feet together. And I'm going to make almost a diamond shape with my legs here. So this is a seated bound ankle. Again, when we come into this, be mindful of your posture and your breath. So trying not to hunch over too much in the back unless it's part of deepening the stretch. So with the soles of your feet touching and your knees extended outwards, go ahead and do a little mini bend inward. You can even bring your hands to the soles of your feet. Just kind of play with this motion for a little bit and see how that feels. If your body is wanting you to draw your heels a little bit closer to your hips, go ahead and listen to that and bring them in. Vice versa, if you're wanting to draw them out a little bit further to the edge of your mat, go on ahead. Almost like those butterflies that we used to do in gym class, when we bounce our legs and kind of do a nice little opening in the thighs here. You can take it up real nice and tall, using your shins almost to bolster your arms and your shoulders open. Or you can take an opposite motion and kind of bend those elbows and bend into it, deepening the stretch through the opening of the hips here. When that feels complete, go ahead and bring both your feet to the front of the mat, sitting up nice and tall and long, legs out straight, and just bend those, bring your arms to your feet. If they don't quite make it, that's fine. Just try to get them going in that direction. So even if they don't make it past your kneecaps, that's fine. You're still getting it. Wherever your body allows you to go, maybe even touching your toes. Nice big deep breath in and exhale. Long in the legs. Inhale it up and swing your legs over to any side, taking your way to tabletop, being mindful of stacking our hips and our shoulders and our elbows and our kneecaps, but then bringing our kneecaps to the edges of the mat and sinking our hips back to the soles of our feet while extending our legs. Nice long extended child's pose here. Big deep breath in. And out. While you're here, you can even take your hands to the left side of the room, creating a nice opening through that right side of the body. And breathing in nice and deep here for a breath. And on your next breath, send it back to neutral. Inhale and exhale it all the way over to the right side. Nice and long in the arms. And on your next breath in, bring it back in the center. All right, from your extended child's pose, bring it back up into tabletop. Again, stacking shoulders over elbows, over wrists, and your knees are going to land directly beneath your hip points. Toes are going to be pointed. And here what I'm going to do is I'm just going to gently begin to create some movement in my hips. So I'm going to create some circles with my hips. Not necessarily a cat-cow because I'm not really doing any movement in my shoulders. It's all in the hips right now. Really trying to exaggerate that movement in a 360-degree range with my breath. So inhale nice and deep. Circling the hips one way. And at the top of your next circle, exhale it out and start circling your hips in the opposite direction now. A few more rounds of breath here. Just continue to circle in the hips. So again, thinking about the sacral chakra where we're working, and how the element of this chakra is water. So it's almost thinking about swishing a big fish bowl full of water around in between your hips. Maybe you can imagine what kind of fish you have swimming in there today. Do you have piranhas? Do you have electric eels going on? Or are you a goldfish today, or an angelfish? How's your tank feel? Is it too big? Is it too small? Are you a big fish in a small pond? All right. When that's done, come back into tabletop. And from here, I'm just going to have you drop your belly and open up through the chest as your hips come up into a nice cow pose. Inhale and exhale into the opposite direction, cat. Inhale it up to cow. And exhale. Few more rounds just like this with your breath at your own pace. In and out. Fingertips nice and wide on the mat, creating a nice base for your palms, your wrists, your arms. Feel that nice opening through the shoulders when you come up for an inhale, and then enjoy that opposite sculpting motion on the exhale. You can even take your head to peek at your right foot or your right hip, creating a nice little stretch in the side body here. Inhale it back to neutral and exhale it to the opposite motion. Left head, I'm sorry, not the left head. The head goes to look to the left side. Repeat that. A few more rounds. Right head. Head comes to look at the right of the body. Inhale it to neutral. Left side. Now what I'm going to have us do is just kind of come back up to a seated position and then come up onto the balls of your feet, using your hands to support you. So the idea here is to look a bit like a frog. You almost want to invite a nice little hop here. Sitting back into the hips. You can even take your hands to your heart and open up those legs nice and wide. Feel free to rock on your heels. You can even twist from one side to the other. Just pretending I'm just a nice little frog on a lily pad today. My goal here is to try to release any tension that I have in my hips, which is an area I personally tend to cultivate a lot of tension for whatever reason. So I find that these types of poses, the poses associated with the sacral chakra, I find them to be especially beneficial. to the things that I encounter from a day-to-day basis. All right, once your froggy feels complete, I'm going to hop on back to the back of my mat here, and no pun intended, and I'm going to, from my little froggy squat, I'm just going to plant my right foot on the ground. I'm going to walk my hands forward and bring my left leg in between for a nice low lunge. So from your foot, you can come onto your knee, or you can lift up to a low lunge. Whatever feels comfortable for you. Stay down here on the knee if you like. And then on your next exhale, go ahead and straighten your left leg, bending back to the right foot to create a little bit of a half split here. And we can move through a few rounds of that. So move to your low lunge on the inhale and exhale it back through to your half split. Inhale and exhale. All right, and go ahead and plant your left foot back, and your right foot will come forward in between your hands. Choice to take the left knee down to the ground for a nice lunge on the right side. Again, if you want to extend your left leg and bring it up to a low lunge, you're more than welcome to do so. Bringing your arms up and overhead if that feels good. Or if it's more comfortable for you to remain on your knee, that's totally fine too. Wherever you're at, go ahead and bring it down to your knee and begin to straighten that right leg as well, reaching those right toes to your face, and coming back to support, to find support in the back of the legs. And again, rocking through that motion a few more times. Remembering to continue to move with your breath here. And when you're ready, from your lunge, bring it back into plank and gently into our downward dog. First downward dog of the day. Really take a moment to pedal it out here. Nice big deep breath in and out. From your downward dog, walk it to the top of the mat. Baby steps. And once your hands meet your feet, do a nice gentle forward fold all the way down. Even grab your opposite elbows here. That feels good. On your next inhale, bring it up into halfway lift. Nice long straight neck and back. Lower it back down to the floor, hands come to the mat, feet step back into plank. From your plank, you can either take it down to the knees or go all the way down to the ground, belly to floor. And after you do that, slide your hands to the top of your rib cage and take your shoulders, neck, and head up for a nice little baby cobra or an upward facing dog. Bring it on back to downward dog. Bring your left leg up high. Inhale, and exhale that left leg in between your hands. This time we're going to pivot on the back foot and gently start to stack up through the spine. Arms come nice and wide. Front leg is bended at a 90-degree angle. My right leg is extended out long and straight behind me. My arms are going to come out nice and wide. Warrior two. Make it peaceful. I'm going to bring my right arm behind me to touch the back of the small of my back. My left arm is going to come up and overhead in a little rainbow motion. I'm just going to create a bit of an opening here through the left side of my body, left torso specifically. Exhale, arms come out wide, and bring your left hand either to the top of your left thigh or all the way down to the mat. Right arm comes up straight, almost like you're waving, waving at the sky. Hello. If you feel like taking a journey to bring your hand all the way to the front of the room, go for it. Exhale, both hands to the mat to frame the left foot. Take it back into plank. From plank, exhale it down, belly to mat. And head comes up. Little cobra or upward facing dog, your choice. Either way, we're going to exhale it back into downward facing dog. Take a moment to breathe here, pedal it out. And then bring that right foot up and overhead. I'm sorry, not over your head. That was a bit of a stretch, even for a very advanced yogi. Instead, what we're going to do is take our right foot in between our hands. Much more doable movement here. And then we are again going to pivot on our back foot and start to stack up to standing, repeating this motion on the opposite side. I'll flip for you so you can see me. So again, my left leg is extended out long and straight behind me, and my left foot is facing forward, my right foot is facing to the front of the mat. Nice opening here through the right leg and thigh. Arms come out long, extend on either side. And again, I'm just going to take my left arm back behind to the small of my back, and my right arm is going to come over my head in a little rainbow. Peaceful warrior. And then again, cartwheeling it down. Again, either rest your right arm on your thigh or bring your right hand to the mat to meet your right foot. And your left hand, you can even just leave it on your hip if that feels more comfortable. You can extend it to the sky or extend it to the front of the room. Either way, go ahead. And when you're done, bring your hands down to the mat with grace and ease. Frame that foot, bring it back down into plank. All the way down to your belly. Up into a nice little cobra here, or an upward facing dog. Exhale it into downward dog. All right, begin to again make your journey to the front of your mat. I'm gonna turn around here. Okay. So once you make your way to the front of the mat, you're going to find yourself in a forward fold position, and I'm just going to begin to slowly stack up into standing. one vertebrae at a time. I'm gonna do a nice little shoulder roll, make sure my posture is good, fix my clothes, wipe my brow. So from standing, what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of take my feet to either sides of my mat as far as they'll go. So legs are just gonna come out nice and wide. And once they're wide and comfortable and I have a nice foundation here in my feet, I'm just gonna make a nice little journey, again, trying to make it graceful and make my way down to a nice wide-legged forward fold. Bending the knees as much as you need to. Nice big deep breath in. And you can even take a little walk with your hands to the left side, to your left foot. Spend a little time here. Inhale it back to neutral. And exhale, continue your journey all the way through to the right side. Let's just repeat that a few more times, just kind of going back and forth, left to right with our breath. One more time on the left side. One more time on the right. And bring it back down to center. And here, I'm going to just kind of gently bring my feet a little bit closer together. They're not quite as wide as they were before. And from, again, with my hands touching the mat, I'm just going to again, kind of come up into a nice wide-legged standing position here. I'm going to stack my head over my shoulders, my shoulder over my torso, and my torso is gently knitting in here on my core, which is also supporting my sacrum and my hips and my pelvis here in this nice wide-legged stance. Once I feel solid and firm in all of my foundations from my head to my toes, I'm going to gently begin to bend my knees as wide as they will go. Being mindful. If I need to move my feet, change the placement of my feet. If I need to take my arms out to my knees, let them dangle if they need, or nice heart, hands to heart center. Let's just take a moment to breathe here, shall we? Bending in nice and generously. Almost like you're letting gravity do the work, where you can kind of feel that your body is resisting falling completely on your rear. But at the same time, it is quite a nice hip opener, you must admit. One more big deep breath in here. And from here, let's just keep on going. So your hands can come to touch the mat at any time as you make your way down. And your feet are just gonna come in an inch or two more, as much as you need. And here we are gonna be back in our nice little Mr. Froggy pose. And just see how different that feels compared to when we first took this pose. See if there's been any shifting or movement. Hopefully there has been a little bit. hands come to heart center. You can almost feel your shoulders and your elbows pushing your legs open wide, creating a bit of a bolster there for us. And when that feels complete, just gently release your hands to the mat and let your hands come behind you for support and take it to your rump. Swing your legs around, hands under, or hands on the mat, under your, nice and stacked under your shoulders, and then your hips are going to be under your, your hips will be over your knees, knees under your hips. Long story short, we're in tabletop position. So once you're there, let's extend our knees again to either side of the mat, nice and wide. Take it back down to a nice extended child's pose. So your hips are gonna come, your glutes are gonna rest on your heels. And my arms are gonna be extended nice and long and straight to the front of the room, to the top of my mat. Forehead can come to rest on the mat for a moment. Nice, big, deep breath in. And out. Just take a few rounds of breath here. On your next inhale, gently begin to make your way back into tabletop. Knees come back under hips, hands come under shoulders. A little bit of support in the core here, making sure that I'm not spilling out anywhere. And from here, I'm just going to tuck my toes and lift my hips up into the air and take it on back into nice downward facing dog. Big deep breath in and out. Pedal your dogs if you need. On your next inhale, bring your left leg up into the air. In, knee to nose. Again, left leg up in the air. Even stacking the hips if you need. Bring your knee to your nose. One more time. And again, exhale it up into the air. Inhale. Inhale your leg up into the air. On your next exhale, we're going to repeat that motion of bringing our knee to our nose, but here I want you to just continue your journey, bringing your knee to the front of the mat in between your hands, and your foot is going to come to rest almost diagonally, or your shin will kind of be at a diagonal angle here. And then your your right leg, the straight leg out behind you, can release gently to the ground as long as it's staying straight. And your knee can come to rest on the mat for a nice little pigeon pose. Big deep breath in here. Sitting up nice and straight and tall. Big deep breath in again, through the nose and out through the mouth. Feel free to kind of move around here and see again if there's any tension. If you feel comfortable enough in this pose, you can begin to plant your palms at the very front of the mat, even coming down onto your elbows, or taking your forehead to the mat Again, just really taking the time here to ease into this. And again, this is one of those awesome poses that allows gravity to just kind of do the work, which I love. Wherever you're at, on your next inhale, I want you to bring your right arm behind you and try to catch your right foot in your hand, or even tuck it into your right elbow if you can, and bring your left arm up and overhead. Again, like that nice little rainbow. My goal here is to look like a human pretzel. Inhale, really big. Feel that light coming through. And on your next exhale, release it gently all to the ground. Plant your palms. Tuck your right foot and bring your left leg back to meet it. And we're just going to meet back in downward facing dog. Feel free to take a vinyasa here, if that's calling your name. Whatever you decide, we'll meet back here in downward facing dog. And from there, we'll just bring that right leg up this time. Up high into the air, stacking those hips if you feel the need. Bring that right knee to your nose, exhale. Inhale it up, right leg comes up into the sky. Inhale and exhale, knee to nose. Exhale one more time, knee. Right leg goes up into the sky. And again, knee to nose. But continue the journey where your knee gently plants between your hands, creating that nice diagonal angle with your shin. And your left leg is out long and strong behind you. Gently coming to rest in this nice hip opening posture. And while you're here, maybe try to take a bit of inventory to see if it feels any different on this side. Is it easier on the right side or more difficult? Are there any little lightning bolts coming up telling you things? Again, feel free while you're here to take your hands to the front of the mat, deepen the stretch as much as is comfortable for you. Don't ever stretch to the point where it's painful. If you are able to, go ahead and bring your shoulders down to the mat. Your forehead can even come down to touch the mat here as well. Remembering, like, it is important to move around in poses like these, especially when we're getting into some deep areas of muscle. And it's natural to want to explore these areas and kind of want to move and fidget and wiggle around. And there's nothing wrong with that, and that's good, and you should do that. It's also good to come to a place of stillness. So in your exploration, if you do come to a point where you want to settle in, if you find an area that's particularly juicy, maybe just take a beat there, not clenching or tight or seizing up. It's more stillness and peace and releasing into opening up these areas. Again, on your next inhale, take it up. If you were on the ground, take it up to all the way up to the top. And take your left hand behind you this time and grab your left foot, tucking it in elbow if you can, and bridging the arm up and over your head. Human pretzel. That is not the official name of this pose, but it looks and it feels like it, so that is also acceptable in my book. Big deep breath in here. And on your next exhale, bring your hands down, palms come to the mat. Take a nice little flow if you'd like, or take a moment to go into a child's pose. Whatever you do, we're going to meet in tabletop. And from tabletop, I'm just going to have you sit back on your heels. Nice big deep breath in here as we settle into this new posture. So what I'm wanting to do before anything else is just make sure I'm comfortable. So if I'm noticing any pressure in my knees or my thighs, I can change it. I can sit off to the side. I can do a nice cross-legged seat. If there's any discomfort at all, change it up and make adjustments and make it comfortable for you. Once we're nice and tall and straight in our spine, I'm going to reach up with an inhale, reach up to the sky. And then what I'm going to do on my exhale is bring my hands all the way down to touch my heels, or even the mat, if they can make it there. And what I'm trying to do is open through my shoulders as much as possible and open through my chest. Inhaling nice and deep, my chin is pointing to the sky, trying to not clench in the jaw and not let my head spill back either. Almost there's a nice little balance to it, a nice little buoyancy coming up to the tips of the fingers, remembering your breath. I'm going to just bring my hands to my thighs and just continue the journey like I'm making my way to tabletop, but I'm going to keep on going all the way down to my belly, all the way down to the ground. And once I'm on the ground, I'm going to reach my hands, both my hands, back behind me, like as if I'm trying to touch my feet. I know I can't, but I'm just kind of creating that motion here. And on my inhale, I'm going to lift up my hands, my arms, my feet, my legs, really, really focusing on toning all the back body muscles here. I want to look like a boat, like a human boat. Inhale it up and exhale, release. Inhale up again. Exhale, release. Let's just work through a few more rounds of that. Inhale up, feet, legs, knees come up, really toning through the glutes and the quads, the backs of the legs. Really feeling that light up in the body. And exhale it down. One more time, you got this. Inhale it up. Exhale it down. And I am going to flip like a pancake to my back. So I'm going to just come from my stomach to my back. And once I'm here, I'm going to bring my left foot up under my hip, and then I'm going to bring my right foot to follow. So really snuggling my heels into my glutes here, making a solid connection with my feet and the mat. And then again, similarly, I'm going to snuggle my shoulder blades open, almost using the mat and the ground as a bolster to open up through the shoulders. I'm going to plant my hands, my palms on either side of me. Nice big deep breath in And on the exhale, I'm going to begin to lift my hips up into the air. Bridge pose. Exhale it all out. You can either go through a flow with this, with your breath, inhaling and exhaling as you come up and down, or you can choose a more static approach and choose to remain here in bridge and remain here with your breath. You can even join your hands, clasp your hands underneath you to create a bit of a bind. Ultimately, what I want to do is really focus on pointing my hip points up and into the sky. Knees are parallel to the ceiling. Shoulders are open. I'm not clenching in the jaw or the neck, trying to remain loose in the back of the neck. Whatever you've been doing, if you've been going up and down with your bridge, or if you have been just staying still with your bridge, release it all with your next exhale. And we're going to come from having our knees together with our little feet touching our bum here. And I'm just gonna open my knees to either side of the mat. Feeling that nice opening through the hips. If you want, you can bring your hands up to create a nice little pillow under your head. Again, finding some adjustments if you need. You can bring your feet closer to the top of the mat, or you can bring them closer to your bottom, whatever is calling to you here. If you want to do some pulses, just some gentle pulses with your knees, or if you prefer to sit in stillness, maybe even playing with the breath and seeing if engaging your core in various ways has an effect on the opening that you're experiencing in your hips, if that makes any sense at all. Regardless of what I'm saying, just continue to breathe in and out here, allowing the hips to fall open gently. Nice big deep breath in and out. Again, here, feel free to take a little mini body scan and see if there are any areas where you may be clenching. For example, in between your eyebrows or in your jaw. Those are popular places for me. That's where I tend to hold on to a lot. Once that feels complete, just bring your hands to either sides of your knees and help them to support your journey back to just having your knees touching. And now, with your knees bent, bring your knees to the left side of the mat. Feet are going to remain together. And try to keep your right shoulder on the right side of the mat if you can. If it is uncomfortable or painful, by all means, make any adjustment that you need to. But the idea here is to create a nice twist throughout the spine. And it helps to bring the arms nice and wide into a bit of a T shape. Nice big deep breath in here. And out. Inhale and exhale. On your next inhale, bring it to center and take it on over to the right side. Exhale all the way over. Again, trying to keep that left shoulder touching the ground if possible, but don't hurt yourself.
If it lifts, it lifts. It's okay. Looking all the way over to the left side. Just feel that nice natural twist. Gravity is doing its thing. And I'm just going to go through that a couple more times. So on my next inhale, bring it to neutral. Exhale it to the left side. Inhale to neutral. Exhale to the right side. And I'm going to kind of just flow through this movement, almost massaging my hips. So you can do this as fast or as slow as you need to. I don't advise you doing it incredibly fast. It's meant to be a massage or more of a relaxing motion. If it feels better to remain on one side longer, that's fine. You don't have to move with me. Just move with your body. And on your next return to neutral, I'm going to lift my legs up into the sky, and I'm going to grab my feet with either hand. I'm going to come into a happy baby. So my knees are as bent as they need to be, or if I want to bring them straight, if I want to kind of rock up and down on my mat to massage my spine, or take one leg out straight at a time, or roll around playfully as though I am an actual literal baby. Make it weird. Get weird with it. No one ever called a baby weird. The pose is not called weird baby, it's called happy baby, okay? We're not overthinking it. We're just doing our best. And that is good enough. Not only is it good enough, it's amazing. And it's everything. All right. Stay here as long as you want, but eventually you're going to plant those feet down on the mat, and legs are going to come out nice and long. Hands are going to come to rest at either side. Release it all here. Savasana. Again, we're going to come back to where we started with our breath. Nice big deep breath in. And out. Big deep breath in. And out. I'm going to not talk so much here and allow your own breath to take what it needs from this practice. Try to enjoy this moment of stillness and let it be part of the practice. I know this doesn't feel like it, but this is exercise. have an option here to once again go through a little body scan, briefly scanning from the top of your head to your eyebrows, relieving any tension there. Continuing the journey of awareness down from your eyebrows to your cheeks. Maybe put a little smile there if you want. You don't have to smile. You do have to breathe. I do ask that of you. Again, continuing that scan down the mouth, the chin, the neck, the chest. You can take the left hand to the chest and the right hand to the belly. And take a moment here to focus on those textures. Your belly may be soft and your chest may be hard, or vice versa. Continuing the scan to your hips. We did a lot of work here today, so it might feel a little tingly, might feel a little different or activated, hopefully in a good way. Breathe in real nice and deep regardless, and out. Allowing that awareness to again flood through the thighs, the shins, and then finally to your feet, to your toes. If you set an affirmation at the beginning of practice, feel free to return to it at this time. For today, we said that we deserve pleasure, we deserve happiness. We deserve a livable life. It's not asking too much. In fact, it is the bare minimum. And from there, the sky is the limit. I want to thank you so much for taking the time to join me in this practice today. I am so grateful and thankful for everyone who gets to tune in, and I hope you enjoyed it. If there's anything you'd like to see in the future, don't hesitate to let me know in the comments. I am going to continue working on my chakra series, so be on the lookout for that. But in the meantime, I'm going to allow you to stay here as long as you like, or once you're done, feel free to just roll up the mat and continue on with your day or your life. One final big deep breath in and out. I'm going to bring my hands together, my thumbs to my right in between my eyes, my forehead. Namaste.